Why I upgraded from an MSR to a 600i. Look, my favorite ship for the longest time was the Mercury Star Runner. All right. Like I even did the little mini game to get that advocacy skin that everybody, says is like the best skin for it and everything. I love the ship. Like nobody is going to take away the fact that the MSR is one of the best ships in the game. All right. I love the look of it. It's what really made me fall in love with Crusader ships. It made me really dig deep into what Star Citizen was all about. However, after it released in game, although it met my visual expectations, I just realized it wasn't going to be my long term daily driver. Don't get me wrong, it is a great daily driver now, but at some point I would stop using it even when data running comes online. I realized I wasn't excited for data running. I was excited for being able to use my MSR. And data running just so happened to be the game loop for the MSR. The it could have been science, and I still would have been just as excited for the MSR. It could have been any other, because I just like the look of the MSR. It wasn't really about data running. So what I was really looking for was the largest soloable ship that was also multi-role. I'm trying to build a fleet of ships that'll, you know, keep for the long haul. Plus, plenty of people have MSRs. I'll be able to see them anytime. I want a ship that is a bit more rare. Not to say that tons of people don't have 600 eyes, but definitely less people have 600 eyes than MSRs because MSR is one of the most popular ships in the game, if not the most popular. The Carrick might have something to say about that, though. I also think the 600i is the perfect balance between solo ship and cruise ship. Well, at least it will be after the rework. And if you haven't seen the news about the 600i rework, oh boy, go watch that and you'll understand. I'll link it below. The ship will be completely different. I'll talk about that later. But first, some more solid reasons for switching, just in case you were wondering and you're just like, well, so what? You like the look of the ship? You think it's a better cruise ship? Well, here's some more harder facts, right? Obviously, one is a medium ship and the other is large, right? So, of course, one is going to be capable of more, of fitting more, right? But also, one is going to have a few things over the other. So, let me just talk about what the 600i already has. The guns are phenomenal. There's three of them, size 5 pilot controlled laser cannons. They come standard with the 600i and they're amazing. And it has 4 size 5 missile racks with 16 total missiles. The shield pool on the 600i is insanely high. Right now, I know that it is the 12th highest in the game as of December 2023. The 600i, as of December 2023, has the 12th highest in-game shield pool. And that's incredible. For it's supposedly a luxury ship that's not necessarily meant for fighting. It's an expedition or touring, and it has the 12th highest shield pool in the game. So I and that's a fact, right? Look that up, right? And it can't kill light fighters, really. It's not really meant to fight those, but it also doesn't take damage from them. So you basically just break even when you're against a light fighter. Now, unless they are like heavily equipped or like overly equipped light fighters, which you might run into, it can destroy the slower medium fighters mostly too. Don't try it with an F8C or Santak Yai, which the Santak Yai is just all about being able to get around you and shoot you from, a different angle. And the 600i is a boat. But in that same case, so is the MSR, right? And against the Santak Yai, everything is terrible at maneuvering, right? That's what that thing is made for. But that's all PVE though. I would only use the 600i to fight ships in PVE. It's not a great PvP fighting ship. Even when it's fully crewed, I still wouldn't really go too much into PvP fighting. It can hold its own. Don't get me wrong. It's not a you automatically have to run type of ship, but I wouldn't use it for that purpose. But you can kind of start to see, how it opens up a whole new section of gameplay, right? that the MSR just doesn't quite have. Um, the, and let's talk about this 600i rework, right? It's massive, right? I'll link to the video where they talk about the rework. It was it was like fall 2022. It was inside Star Citizen. It was called A Cut Above, um, on the Star Citizen channel. So I'll link that. So just make sure you go into the details and look at that. Um, but yeah, that was one of those things where I don't think a lot of people. I mean, I know if you were into the 600i, you were like, yeah, right. But I don't think a lot of people who didn't have a 600i really looked at that and were like, oh, I'm gonna buy a 600i now, right? Or at least buy one based on upgrade, getting rid of a ship that they already loved, right? But maybe you should, right? The 600i is getting a tier 2 medical bed that you can respond from, right? The MSR doesn't have one of those. To take a large vehicle with you in the MSR, you have to give up nearly all your cargo space. The 600i keeps the same cargo space with a friggin' tank inside. I can imagine taking a Spartan with me and turning the 600i into like an undercover dropship. Not that I need to do that, right? Like, I could go get, an A2, an M2, a C2, whatever, right? But again, multi-role, right? Like I can go and do PvE, like I could do ERTs, VHRTs with the 600i. Can't do those with the MSR. Now, I can do a little drop ship thing if I want to. I could take a tank with me. I think that's really cool. And the 600i also has a second elevator and cargo hold that's more readily accessible to crew. So, you don't just have like that one entrance thing that you have going on with the MSR. The 600i also has a full armory, full kitchen, and full recreational area. The MSR has some of that, but it's like really small basic versions of each one of those things, right? But that's more so just because it's a medium ship. And the 600i is also getting more cargo room, right? We don't know how much, but it's getting more. So right now it's at like a measly 40, right? So right now, right, obviously that's not enough, but they're saying it's getting more. Now, I don't think it's going to get as much as the MSR, but I could easily see them doubling that to 80 SCU. And if you know about like multi-role ships, 80 SCU is like medium freight, right? So I'm pretty sure like medium freight, and what I mean by medium freight is like, when you look at cargo transporter ships, right? Below 46 SCU is light freight. 46 SCU to like 383 SCU is medium freight. And then anything above 383 is heavy freight. At least, when you look at the way CIG currently is stating what is light freight, medium freight, and heavy freight, right? You could check that on the website. So it's a large ship, right? But it can carry 80 SCU. Like that's more than a lot of ships can carry. Like a lot of ships that are dedicated to freight. And again, that's not its role. This is an expedition ship, right? This is a go out and explore ship, right? And so far we're getting some of the features that a Carrack has, but it's more soloable than a Carrack. And I'm not even comparing this to the Carrack right now. I'm comparing it to the MSR. I'm just explaining to you like how awesome this rework really is, right? The 600i starts with upgraded components. So like you're not immediately having to go in and buy the best of the best, right? Now, I'm not sure if it'll start with the best components, but upgraded components, yes, I will take that. So that means every time I lose my ship, I get the same quality components back every single time. And it's getting a docking port. Now, that's for additional ways to park your ship at space stations. And of course, for pirates out there, boarding. So, it also means you can be boarded. So, you take that with a little grain of salt. But yeah, I mean, let's not forget though, the MSR is cheaper, it's smaller, it's faster, it carries more cargo, and it has data running gameplay. The 600i will not have access to that On top of that, the 600i is also a flying whale, meaning pirates will attack you, assuming you have expensive things on board or to steal your fancy ship. Another thing is CIG has the next team listed as working on the 600i in 17 weeks, meaning the rework is probably not happening anytime soon. It says 17 weeks. And right now, I think their current focus is on, as of December 2023, I think their current focus is on RSI ships. So Origin is probably not going to, unless they just sneak one in there, because now that Squadron 42 is feature complete, maybe they'll have some extra people working on some things, and it might pop up as one of those, unexpected reworks that they just announce at the end of a Inside Star Citizen. But it could take a year, 2 years before we even get this rework. So, right now, as things sit, I still like the 600i, because if I want to do cargo, I have better ships for cargo. Data running isn't in the game. If I need a fast ship, I have a faster ship. So the MSR just doesn't really, don't get me, I still love the MSR. I'm still going to hop in my buddy's MSR and we're still going to go fly around and wreck stuff. But it's just not a ship I need to own. And that's one of the realizations that I came to. That's why I upgraded. And perhaps the MSR will get a rework and make me eat my words. But right now, I think, the 600i is going to be one of the best soloable multi-crew ships in the games. And, we always talk about solo, right? And what I mean is, like, I don't think that you're at a huge disadvantage when you don't have crew on a 600i. Yes, any ship that is not fully crewed is not operating at max capacity and max efficiency. But the 600i still feels like you are in control. It still feels like you have something you can do. The MSR is a fan favorite. Look, I'm not trying to change your mind. If it fits what you want to do better, keep it. I just like the 600i a little bit more. The MSR is still a quality ship, and it looks better on the outside. If you ask me, I still like the MSR look better than the 600i. But, you can't go wrong with either. So that's why I upgraded my MSR to a 600i. What do you think? Is this a ridiculous upgrade? Does it make sense to you? Was there a better option? Let me know. All right, that's it for this one. Peace.